Alright, so this morning the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened and I was there live watching it, and the whole time I wasn't very impressed, and I'm gonna get into that. Alright, so I'm just gonna go through this Direct and talk about everything. First, we obviously have this Mario Kart trailer, but we've all seen it by now if you're here. And I mean, it just looks like a fun game. I'm not really into Mario Kart, so I might be a little bit of like, you might think I'm a hater. I mean, this is really cool if you're obsessed with Mario Kart, but the one thing like that I don't think it's worth the $90 physical that I've seen they're pushing out, when also the digital is only $80. But especially if we look to this open world stuff, um, there is also, if you don't remember, there's Lego Drive, and I believe that Lego 2K Drive, which also had open world and a lot of character customization. And I feel like that is basically what this game is trying to be. We're not trying to be, like, they're trying to be better, but I feel like it's gonna end up the same way, even though it's Mario Kart. Um, but yeah, I mean, it still is a cool, like, I like the knockout stage and all that because it's like a battle royale. But like this stuff right here, like, who's realistically gonna be doing this? And that's only like the start of, like, I was like having my concerns. What they get up to next is this whole game chat thing. So they added this C button that they're pushing. I guess let's go to that. They had this C button that they're talking about the whole time. Like, C buttons included on everything. Like, you have a C button on this Joy-Con. On the Pro controller, they had a C button. On the new GameCube controller, there's a C button. But like, the only purpose for that C button that they showed is so you could do this. And if you look at the bottom here, this is the game share. If you look at the bottom, look how laggy it is. Like, who the heck wants to watch this when you could say, like, play games on Discord and stream that? I mean, I guess the cool part is you could play the game while actually watching other people's games. But this is like insane, like how this C button's a whole big deal. And on top of that, you have to have a Nintendo Switch. You have to have a Nintendo Switch online membership. So if you don't pay for the membership and you're not in like the free like period of using this for like the first year, then that C button is basically useless on your controller. So like there's like a lot of hype for that, and then it's just kind of pointless if you're not spending extra money. And they kept pushing out this camera thing, which is also another accessory you have to have. And like, realistically, who really wants to have a, like, there's so much things that could go wrong with having a camera, especially like if parental controls are not set up properly. But I'm not gonna get into that. But like, why do people want to have a camera staring at them the whole time while they're playing games? Like, not even just for like chatting with people. I mean, I technically have one for a webcam, but I know when it's off. But like, they they're actually showing you that you could put your face in different games. I forgot where, but it's like the whole Mario Party thing. Like, you actually have face in your game, but this is like cool for friends. But it's like there's very limited use for this, but you're just pushing that really hard for this like one C button that they added to the controller. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get at. And I don't know how much this camera costs yet, but I mean, I guess it's cool. The one thing I like about the console is this USB-C port at the top that you can plug the camera into and also charge. Like, it's nice for accessibility, so I like what they did there. Also, the magnetic thing is cool. The only concern I have about this magnetic stuff, the only concern I have is like, what if the magnets become weak? But I don't know if that's probably like 5 years. They showed the Joy-Cons. They didn't talk about if they're not gonna have any drift or whatnot, because I've had a Joy-Con drift on my Nintendo Switch 1. It was so annoying. Um, only for me personally, I like, if I were to buy this, I would wait till there's an OLED screen. Like, hopefully they do an OLED version. There's probably a reason why they held off on the OLED version now, so they could just sell it later. But let's go to. Oh, they also were talking about 3D audio, which most headphones do this. But I guess that's cool. At this point, like, they're just trying to hype up like the smallest things. I think the coolest part of this was probably the 120 FPS. But other than that, maybe the storage as well. I don't remember. I feel like the first Nintendo Switch had like 20 gigs, maybe like 10 of those gigs or whatever were for like storing updates and whatnot. But now let's get to the next part, which is this. I thought this was about to be like an Astro's Playroom type of thing for like PS5 has Astro's Playroom, which is very successful, led to Astrobot being a thing, which won Game of the Year. But this is like like you just walk around in this low quality area, learning about the Nintendo Switch you already bought. Oh yeah, they just taught. I forgot about the whole mouse control thing. That's like a main reason why I'm making this video. I'll touch up on that after this. But this whole area, apparently this isn't free. I mean, that's why I heard it could be. I just saw on Twitter, but you know, I shouldn't be speculating too much about these type of things. But if this isn't free, this is like the biggest waste of money, especially with all you're doing is basically you could just go online and like cool math games, start playing a computer game with your actual mouse and do all this. I mean, maybe you can't feel the rubber balls in your hand or whatever, but other than that, okay, so this mouse thing is like kind of pissing me off because it's like people get consoles because they don't. A lot of people aren't even comfortable with a mouse to begin with, like mouse and keyboard controls. So that's like they used to playing with an actual controller. Them like, I mean, I guess they're not really forcing the mouse control in these games, but a lot of things that are in these, like a lot of these games have extra opportunities to use these mouse controls. Like in the Mario Party Jamboree, there's additional mini games you can play with the mouse. But then let's see. All right, so I just want to talk about how stupid these two mice that you have are. I mean, there's some cool ideas that they could do with it, but if you think about it, like first of all, if you're playing on the couch, no one's gonna be using a mouse there unless you're like doing on your hand like that guy just showed. Like imagine playing games that way. But then they have a whole thing where it's two mice being used, both Joy-Cons, for this one game where it's you're in a wheelchair and playing basketball. Yeah, that's a real seller for me. Imagine imagine how much your wrist would hurt after doing all this movement. Like look how he has to shoot the ball. Let's go back to that. Oh, look, this is them driving. Oh my gosh, like look how he shoots that. This looks so painful. And then you have to keep playing this like three times or whatever to like have a good day worth of gameplay. Look at how he shoots it here, how far he puts his wrist back, and does that. Imagine doing that like 5 times in one game and then playing again for like 30 minutes straight. I feel like your wrist would start hurting at that point, and that's the whole gimmick of this game. This is why I don't think this game is gonna sell very well. People might get this is like the new ARMS. Like they want to have the same success that ARMS had, which wasn't very good. And then they do show some games. Oh yeah, they had different stuff for like the original, where you can like enhance the other game, upgrade the games for the Nintendo Switch 2 version, which that was fine. I mean, every console does that, even PlayStation 5, which I like. And then here, they start showing through all the new games that are coming out, which is pretty nice. I mean, you got this. I mean, I didn't play any Hyrule Warriors, but that was cool. And they show the GameCube stuff for Nintendo Online, which is pretty cool. Surprised they didn't show. They didn't focus on different games, but yeah. And then here's that stupid C button that comes back here. I feel like that's gonna be the most useless button on the controller. And then they just go through a bunch of games here. Oh, is this Cyberpunk? That's cool. But here's I remember I was watching live, and when they were showing this game, the stream pretty much froze here. So when the stream froze here, it was we can't really see what's happening on the screen. We're just hearing audio, and it was kind of embarrassing. But I guess they did have a lot of people watching. I mean, Enter the Gungeon too. I mean, these look cool, but you can play these on any console except this, which is the new From Software game. I mean, this and the next two games are pretty much the selling point. I mean, they have Kirby Air Riders, but realistically, why would they announce this after they just showed Mario Kart World? Like, who's gonna be playing Mario Kart but with Kirby characters? I mean, honestly, I never played the original one, but it just seems like contradiction or something. And then lastly, they have this Donkey Kong game. The Donkey Kong game was like the best thing. I mean, the best thing from this direct I saw. Yeah, I mean, he just has so much power here. And then lastly, they showed. Oh no, Donkey Kong was the last thing, right?
Details will be shared in the future.
I think I missed one. I'm pretty sure I got through all of them. And then they showed this, and then the price for this was $450 for this alone, which is more than the PlayStation 5 on release, and or PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, which this basically is because all the games you download physically are pretty much digital. And then you also have this, which is $500. I mean, you're saving money on the Mario Kart World, so this is probably your best deal. But at the same time, it's a bit too much for what they showed here. All right, so overall, what we got from this was just the Nintendo Switch One, except better looking games, and you can plug in your mouse and camera. I guess that's essentially what it was. But I have a PlayStation 5. It can pretty much do all that except do the mouse thing. I mean, you could buy a camera for the PlayStation 5 to broadcast and whatnot. So, and that's if you get the digital version for $400. That's cheaper than what this is, and I bet that the games run way smoother. So overall, I do not think that this is a financially smart decision for you unless you're obsessed with Nintendo. This might flop for Nintendo itself. It might succeed. It's hard to tell, but overall, I don't think this is worth it until they maybe like announce the new Mario game, which I'm surprised they didn't do. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments and make sure you subscribe. Bye.